Hello, and welcome to another journey through the tales woven into the fabric of video games. Stories that linger like dreams, full of wonder, sorrow, and the faint glow of hope. Tonight, we're stepping into the vast, intricate world of Final Fantasy VI, a masterpiece born in 1994. This is a saga of a world teetering between magic and machinery, of empires built on stolen power, and of ordinary souls who dare to defy fate. So find a comfortable spot, settle in, and prepare to enter this epic tale from its snowy beginning to its bittersweet end. Picture a land where steam rises from iron cities, where ancient spirits whisper in the wind, and where every step forward is a choice to fight for something greater. Let's begin. Our story unfolds in a world shaped by both beauty and ruin, a place where the past and present are locked in an uneasy dance. Long ago, 1,000 years before our story begins, this land trembled under the war of the Magi. It was a time when humans and espers, ethereal beings of pure magic, clashed in a struggle that scarred the earth. Espers, with their shimmering forms and boundless power, were both revered and feared. Some humans sought to harness their essence, crafting spells and weapons from their very life force. The war raged until the espers, weary of bloodshed, fled to a hidden realm, sealing themselves away behind a mystical gate. Magic faded, becoming little more than a bedtime story whispered to children, and humanity turned to a new power, technology. Centuries passed, and the world rebuilt itself. Smoke rose from chimneys, gears turned in grand machines, and cities of iron and stone sprawled across the continents. But peace was fragile. In the south, a new force emerged, the Gestalian Empire led by Emperor Gestal, a man whose ambition knew no bounds. Gestal was no warrior, but a strategist, his mind sharp as a blade. Under his rule, the Empire rediscovered the lost art of magic, blending it with their machines to create Magitech, a fusion of steel and sorcery. Magitech armors, towering suits piloted by soldiers, marched across the land, their cannons spitting fire and ice. With this power, the Empire swallowed nations whole: Albrook, Zen, Miranda, leaving only a few free cities trembling in its shadow. Now our tale begins in the far north, in the mining town of Narsh. It's a quiet place nestled among snow-dusted peaks where the people dig coal and ore from the earth to fuel their furnaces. The wind carries a chill here, and the nights are long. But recently, something has stirred beneath the frozen ground. Miners working deep in the caverns uncovered a relic of the past, a frozen esper, its crystalline body locked in ice, its eyes glowing faintly. Word of this discovery spread, reaching the ears of the Empire. And so, on a night when the snow falls thick and silent, 3 figures approach Narsh, their steps heavy with purpose. Through the blizzard, Magitech armors lumber forward, their metal feet crunching against the ice, steam hissing from the joints, and their pilots, Imperial soldiers named Vix and Wedge, grumble about the cold. Between them walks a third figure, her movements stiff, her expression blank. She's a young woman with green hair that catches the faint light of the storm. Clad in a red Imperial uniform, her name is Terra Branford, though she barely knows her name herself. Around her head, she wears a slave crown, a cruel device of Magitech that binds her mind to the Empire's will, turning her into a living weapon. Vix and Wedge mutter about her, the witch, they call her, uneasy in her presence, because Terra wields magic naturally, a gift that no human should possess. Their mission is clear: retrieve the Esper from Narsh's mines. The townsfolk, armed with crossbows and pitchforks, try to bar their path, but they're no match for Terra's power. With a simple gesture, she summons flames that melt the snow and beams of energy that shatter stone walls. The guards fall back, and the trio presses into the mines, their armored footsteps echoing through the dark tunnel. Icicles gleam overhead, and the air grows colder as they descend, until at last they reach a vast chamber. There, suspended in a block of ice, is the Esper. Its form is serpentine-like, its feathers shimmering like frost, and its presence hums with an ancient, mournful energy. Terra steps closer, drawn to the Esper, her eyes wide despite the control of the slave crown. The Esper begins to stir, its light flaring, and a wave of power surges forth. Vix and Wedge cry out as they are engulfed, their bodies dissolving into motes of light. The slave crown cracks and falls from Terra's head, and she collapses, her mind suddenly her own again. When she wakes, she's alone. The cavern silent, save for a faint drip of melting ice. Her memories are a jumble, flashes of imperial laboratories, a voice calling her name, the sensation of chains. But nothing is clear. Who is she? Why can she wield magic? Before she can even find her footing, the sound of boots fills the tunnel. Narsh guards, alerted by the commotion, storm in, their weapons drawn. Terra stumbles to her feet, panic rising, and she flees deeper into the mines. She runs until she seems to be surrounded by Narsh guards, closing in on her. The floor beneath her begins to crumble, and she collapses, tumbling into the darkness, her body striking the stone below. She lies still, unconscious as the wind howls above. But this is not the end for Terra. As she lies in the shadows, a figure watches from above, a young man with brown hair, a bandana tied around his head, and a dagger at his belt. His name is Locke Cole, a self-proclaimed treasure hunter, though others might call him a thief. Locke moves with a quiet grace, his eyes sharp and his smile quick. But there's a weight to him, a past that he doesn't speak of. He's in Narsh for the same reason as the Empire, rumors of the Esper. But he is no imperial lackey. Locke works with the Returners, a ragtag group of rebels who have sworn to topple Gestal's regime. Locke is their scout, their lockpicker, and their man in the shadows. Seeing Terra's plight, Locke leaps into action. He climbs down the broken rocks, dodging and falling as the guards regroup. He reaches her just as they burst into the lower chamber, their lanterns casting jagged shadows on the walls. With a grin, Locke scoops Terra up and darts through a side passage, his knowledge of Narsh's tunnels giving him the edge. The guards give chase, their shouts echoing, but Locke is clever. He finds a hidden door, slipping into the home of an old man who is sympathetic to the Returners' cause. The man, grizzled and kind, offers them shelter, settling Terra on a cot by a flickering fire. As Terra stirs, Locke kneels beside her, his voice soft. She is confused, frightened. Her name is all she seems to know, and even that feels borrowed. Locke tells her of the Empire's cruelty, of towns burned and lives stolen, and of the Returners' fight to stop them. He sees something in Terra, a spark, a mystery, and offers her a chance to join them. I will protect you, Locke promises, and there is sincerity in his words that cuts through the fog of her mind. She nods, uncertain, but with nowhere else to turn. Their rest is brief. The old man warns them that Imperial forces are sweeping Narsh, hunting for Terra and the Esper. Locke decides they must leave, but the guards are already at the door. Using Locke's skill in the shadows, they escape the town of Narsh and begin to travel south, the snow giving way to scrubland, their destination a desert castle called Figaro. The sun beats down on the Figaro desert, a sea of golden dunes stretching to the horizon. At its heart rises Figaro Castle, a marvel of engineering. Its towers gleam with polished stone and pipes hiss with steam from hidden machines. This is the domain of Edgar Figaro, a king, his blonde hair tied back, his blue cape fluttering in the wind. Edgar is a tinkerer, a man who loves gadgets as much as he loves people. He rules Figaro as a supposed ally of the Empire, bowing to Gestalt in public while secretly funneling aid to the returners. It's a dangerous game, and he plays it with a smile. When Locke and Terra arrive, dusty and weary, Edgar greets them in the throne room, flanked by guards in ceremonial armor. He's charming, quick with the quip, but his eyes linger on Terra. Her magic fascinates him. Figaro has no mages, only machines, and the tales of the War of the Magi are etched into his family's history. He listens as Locke explains their escape, nodding thoughtfully. The Empire is getting bolder, he muses, offering them rest and a meal, roast boar and fresh bread, a rare luxury in these times. Edgar shares more of the world with Terra, the Empire's capital, Vector, a city of smokestacks and magic tech factories, the free cities of Kohlingen and Jador still resisting, and the returners' hope to rally them all. Terra asks why he risks so much, and Edgar's smile falters. He tells her of his father, poisoned by the Empire years ago, and his vow to avenge him. Before they can delve deeper, a shadow falls over the castle. A man strides in, General Kefka, the Empire's mad jester. Kefka is a nightmare in bright colors, red cape, yellow boots, face smeared with white paint, and a laugh that grates like broken glass. He's Gestalt's right hand, a Magitech knight whose experiments have twisted his mind. He demands Terra, accusing Edgar of treason. Edgar feigns ignorance, offering tea and empty promises, but Kefka's eyes glitter with malice. "I will burn this sandpit to the ground," he sneers. That night, as stars pierce the desert sky, Kefka's soldiers return with torches. Flames lick the castle walls, and Edgar is forced to act. He ushers Terra and Locke to a hidden chamber, revealing Figaro's secret. The castle is a colossal machine. Levers crank, gears groan, and the entire structure sinks beneath the dunes, sand cascading over its spires. The fire rages above, but below, they're safe. Edgar mounts a chocobo, a yellow ostrich-like bird, and leads Terra and Locke across the desert, their mounts kicking up dust as they ride for the returners' hideout in the Sable Mountains. Behind them, Kefka's laughter fades into the night. The group arrives at South Figaro, a town of stone and trade, its streets whispering with unease at the Empire's shadow growing. Edgar knows they must press on, guiding Terra and Locke toward the caves of Mount Colts. The tunnels wind through the mountain, cool and dim, their walls echoing with a distant drip of water. Creatures stir in the darkness, small beasts with sharp claws and flickering flames. But the trio moves steadily, Terra's magic glowing, Locke's blade a quiet reassurance, and Edgar's tools humming with precision. As the mountains crest, they encounter Vargas, a towering figure trained in the ways of combat. He stands with 2 bears at his side, his voice low and resolute. Before the clash can deepen, another figure arrives. Sabin, Edgar's twin brother. Sabin has walked a different road, training in solitude under a master named Duncan. He reveals Vargas's betrayal, a sorrowful truth that led to their teacher's end. Together, Edgar and Sabin face Vargas, their bond unspoken but strong. With Terra and Locke's aid, the party prevails, and Vargas fades into the stillness of the mountain. Sabin joins the group now, his strength a steady presence. Edgar speaks of the Empire's reach and of Terra's importance, and Sabin listens with a firm resolve. The wind moves gently through the peaks as they stand together, a moment of calm before the journey continues. The Sable Mountains rise, jagged and gray, their peaks shrouded in mist. Deep within lies the Returner's base, a network of caves lit by lanterns and warmed by makeshift hearths. Here, Terra, Edgar, Sabin, and Locke meet Bannon, the leader of the rebellion. Bannon is older, his beard streaked with silver, his voice steady but tired. He carries a staff and a quiet faith in a better world. He sees Terra as a miracle. Her magic could counter the Empire's magitech. He urges her to join them fully. Terra hesitates, haunted by her time as a puppet with the Empire, but Bannon's words stir something in her. The Returner's base buzzes with activity. Scouts relay news of Imperial movements, healers tend to the wounded, strategists pore over maps, and the group plans their next move, protecting Narsh's Esper from the Empire. But a messenger interrupts. South Figaro has fallen and Imperial troops are marching north. The group are forced onto a raft and into the Leith River in order to escape the coming Empire forces, where they encounter Ultros, a purple octopus figure who rises from the depths, tentacles flailing and a voice that mocks with his cackle. In the chaos, Sabin leaps to fight, landing a punch that sends Ultros reeling, but a wave sweeps Sabin overboard. Terra, Edgar, and Bannon drift on, calling his name as the current pulls them apart. As the Leith River currents pull our heroes apart, the story splits like threads of a tapestry, each strand revealing a corner of this vast, troubled world. Let's drift first to Sabin, swept away by Ultros's mischief. Imagine him tumbling through the frothy rapids, his powerful arms flailing against the water's grasp, until at last the river spits him out on a muddy shore. The sun hangs low, casting golden light over a humble shack nestled among reeds. Sabin coughs, his monk's robes soaked, his blonde hair plastered to his face. He's a man of strength, 6 feet tall, broad-shouldered, with hands calloused from years of training under Master Duncan. But even he needs a moment to catch his breath. A kindly old man emerges from the shack, his beard white as the river's foam, his eyes crinkling with concern. He offers Sabin a bowl of warm broth, fish and herbs, a simple comfort, and listens as Sabin speaks of his brother, Edgar, and their fight against the Empire. Restless, Sabin soon rises, determined to find his friends. As he steps into the wilds, a shadow falls across his path, quite literally. The shadow belongs to none other than Shadow, a ninja draped in black, his face hidden beneath a hood, his voice a low rasp. At his side is Interceptor, a sleek black dog with amber eyes, fiercely loyal and quick to growl at strangers. Shadow is an enigma, a blade for hire who drifts through life chasing coin, not causes. Rumors whisper he was once a train robber named Clyde, betrayed by his partner and left to wander, but he offers no truths, only a nod to join Sabin, for now. Together, they trek through grassy plains, the wind carrying the scent of wildflowers and distant smoke. They reach a ridge overlooking an imperial camp, with tents pitched like scars against the earth. Below lies Doma Castle, a vision of elegance. Curved roofs tiled in red, cherry blossom trees bowing gently in the breeze, their petals fluttering like snow. Doma is a kingdom of tradition. Its samurai sworn to protect their king with honor. The Empire has laid siege to Doma, and at the camp's heart stands General Leo, a soldier of rare nobility. Leo is tall, dark-skinned, his armor polished but practical, his sword sheathed unless duty demands it. He is Gestal's finest commander, a man who believes in the Empire's order but despises the excess of the Empire. He commands the siege with restraint, refusing to strike the castle's civilians, his voice calm as he orders his troops to hold the line. But honor means little to Kefka, who strides into the camp like a storm of chaos, his red cape billowing, his painted face twisting into a sneer, and his laughter, high-pitched, jagged, cutting through the air. Kefka is no soldier, but instead a Magitech knight, one of the first to be infused with artificial magic. And he is here to hasten the siege, impatient with Leo's patience. Why wait? Kefka giggles, clutching a vial of poison, a sickly green liquid swirling within. Leo protests, stepping forward, his hand on his sword, but Kefka waves him off. With a flick of his wrist, Kefka pours the poison into Doma's river, the water turning black as ink, tendrils of death seeping toward the castle. Inside Doma's walls, Cyan Garamond stands watch. He is a samurai of 50 winters, his dark hair streaked with gray, his mustache neatly trimmed, his katana an extension of his soul. Cyan is steadfast, his life devoted to his king, his wife Elaine, and his young son, Owain. As the poison creeps in, he hears the first cries, guards clutching their throats, civilians collapsing in the courtyard. Cyan races to the royal chambers, his heart pounding, only to find Elaine and Owain still, their hands clasped, their faces peaceful in death. The king lies nearby, his crown askew, his final breath stolen. Cyan's entire world crumbles. He drops to his knees, tears carving paths through the dust on his cheeks, his voice a broken whisper. My family, my home. Grief quickly turns to rage. Cyan storms the camp by himself, his blade flashing as he cuts through soldiers, his Bushido techniques, swirling slashes and piercing thrusts, felling foes with precision. Sabin and Shadow join him, drawn by the chaos. Sabin barrels in, his blitz attacks unleashing bursts of aura that shatter armor, while Shadow's kunai fly like deadly shadows. They reach a row of Magitech armors and Cyan hesitates, but Sabin leaps into one, showing him how to pilot it. Together they turn the Empire's weapons against them, beams of fire and ice tearing through the tents as they escape. Doma's burning spires fading into the dusk. Meanwhile, Locke Cole slips into South Figaro, having left the party to try to slow down the progress of the Empire. The streets of South Figaro are quiet, shops are boarded up, and the air is thick with tension. Locke moves like a phantom, his bandana low over his eyes, his dagger glinting in the moonlight. He's here to sow discord, stealing uniforms, freeing prisoners, and whispering hope to the oppressed. In a guarded mansion, he finds a locked cell, and within it, Celis. She's a vision, blonde hair tied back, blue eyes sharp with defiance, her general's cape tattered. Celis is a Magitech knight, like Kefka, her body infused with magic, but her heart rebelled when she saw his cruelty. She refused to raise Miranda, and now she's a traitor, bound in chains. Locke picks the lock, his hands steady, his voice gentle. "You're not alone," he says, and Celis studies him, wary but intrigued. She rises, summoning a shard of ice to break her shackles, her magic a cold, beautiful thing. Together they slip out, dodging patrols, her spells weaving light and shadow to cover their escape. As they flee, Celis hums a tune, a fragment of an opera she once loved, hinting at a softer soul beneath her armor. Back in Narsh, Terra, Edgar, and Bannon face the town's elders in a wooden hall, the air thick with coal dust. The elders are stubborn. Some, like the gray-bearded Arvis, want to fight. Others fear the wrath of the Empire. Terra volunteers to approach the Esper again, her steps slow as she enters the icy mines. The Esper glows, and a vision floods her mind. A woman, Madeline, with green hair like hers, cradling a child in the glowing realm. An Esper, gentle and radiant, whispering love. Then Gestal's soldiers tearing her away. Terra gasps. She realizes she is half Esper, a bridge between the two worlds, stolen as a baby. The truth settles over her like snow, heavy and cold. That night, Kefka and his army attack Narsh, his laughter ringing as Magitech armors lumber forward. The party unites again. Terra, Edgar, Bannon, Cyan, Sabin, Locke, Celis, and Shadow. Spells clash, swords ring, and the Esper's power surges. And Terra transforms, her body glowing pink, her cries echoing as she soars into the sky, lost to her own nature. The threads of the story converge once again, but the loom is straining. Terra's transformation leaves the party reeling, her flight a streak of light against the dawn. They search for her, their chocobos pounding against the plains and forests, until they reach a city called Zozo, known to be a city of liars, its towers crooked, its streets slick with endless rain. Thieves lurk in the alleys, their grins sharp, their hands quicker. Atop a crumbling spire, Terra lies, her glow fading. Tended by Rama, an Esper. He's regal, white beard flowing, staff crackling with sparks, his voice a rumble as he explains that the Empire drains Espers in Vector's Magitech facility, turning their essence into power. Rama offers his life, becoming Magicite, a ruby crystal pulsing with lightning, and he urges the party to save his kin. The journey shifts now, a gentle turn in the tale as Celis steps forward to guide the way. She moves with quiet resolve, her past as an Imperial general softened by the stillness she carries with her now. Locke walks beside her, his presence steady and warm, a companion whose loyalty flows like a calm river. Their path leads south, toward a distant continent cloaked in mystery, but the sea offers no passage. No boats sail those waters, their waves whispering secrets untold. So the group turns back, their footsteps light against the earth, and they find themselves in Jador, a town of elegance and painted skies where wealth gleams softly in the twilight. In Jador, they cross paths with the impresario, a man of gentle worry and restless thoughts. His voice trembles as he speaks of Setzer, a figure known as the wandering gambler whose life drifts on the winds of chance. The impresario fears for Maria, the radiant star of the opera Maria and Draco, a performance of love and longing that graces the stage. Setzer, it said, might steal her away, drawn by her light. He commands the Blackjack, the only private airship in the world, a vessel of sleek wood and quiet wings. soaring above the clouds where no one else can follow. Its promise lingers in the air, a key to the southern lands they seek. Celis stands quietly as the impresario's words settle. Her resemblance to Maria is striking, an echo of golden hair and graceful poise. Locke's mind stirs, a plan forming like a soft ripple across the water. He suggests that Celis take Maria's place, stepping into the opera's delicate world, her voice and form a mirror to the star. It's a gentle deception, a way to draw Setzer near and claim passage on his airship. Celis agrees, her expression calm, and the preparations begin. The rustle of a silken gown, the faint hum of rehearsal notes floating through the theater. The stage is set, a dream woven from song and shadow. But the night of the performance holds more than music. Ultros, the strange creature from Leith River, lingers unseen. His presence a faint disturbance in the stillness. He overhears the plan, his many arms curling with intent, and as Celis sings beneath the soft glow of lanterns, Ultros acts. High above, he nudges a heavy weight, its shadow creeping downward toward her. The moment breaks softly as Locke and the others rise, their movements swift but measured, catching the danger before it falls. Ultros is defeated and retreats, a flicker of chaos fading into the dark, but the opera falters, its harmony undone. In the confusion that follows, Setzer appears. True to his nature, he seizes the moment, taking Celis as he intended for Maria, lifting her away to the blackjack. The airship hums beneath the stars, its deck steady against the night sky. Yet Celis remains unshaken, with a clear mind. She finds Locke and the others, guiding them aboard with silent steps, their forms hidden in the folds of the ship's shadows. Before Setzer, she stands once more, her hand resting on a coin, two-headed, its surfaces gleaming faintly. She offers a wager, her voice soft as a breeze, and Setzer, captivated by her calm and the pull of fate, can't help but agree. The coin turns in the air, a quiet arc of silver, and lands just as Celis knew it would. Setzer yields, his laughter a low note in the stillness, and the blackjack becomes theirs, a vessel to carry them southward, wings cutting gently through the clouds. Celis, Locke, and their companions settle in, with the hum of the airship as a lullaby beneath the endless sky, their journey stretching onward into the night. The party infiltrates the Magitech research facility, a labyrinth of pipes and vats, the air humming with stolen magic. Espers languish in tubes. Ifrit, a fiery beast. Shiva, a queen of ice, their cries muffled as machines siphon their power. The party fights through guards, their blades and spells carving a path. They meet Sid, the Empire's chief scientist, a stout man with wild hair and a conflicted soul. Sid created Magitech, but he mourns the Esper's suffering, his hands stained with regret. He helps them free the captives, including a dozen magicite shards, but Kefka interrupts, his laughter bouncing off the walls of the factory. The party escapes and returns to the city of Zozo, where shadows stretch long beneath a clouded sky. Here, the party holds fragments of magicite, crystals born of the Espers, gathered from the cold halls of the Magitech research facility. One glows softly, its light stirring Terra's heart. We see that it is Maduin, her father, an Esper whose essence restores her scattered memories like petals falling into place. She speaks quietly, her voice a thread of calm, revealing the truth. She is half human, half Esper, born of a woman named Madeline, who once wandered into the Esper realm and found solace with Maduin. Their bond was gentle, a harmony of two worlds, until the Empire came. Soldiers breached the gate, their boots heavy on the sacred ground. They took Terra and Maduin, binding her to the Magitech experiments that shaped her powers. Now, Terra accepts who she is, her spirit settling like a lake after a storm. With this peace in her heart, Terra guides the party back to Narsh, its snowy cliffs rising softly against the horizon. They gather with their allies, sharing a plan woven from hope to strike the Empire with Figaro's machinery and Narsh's resources. Yet the vision falters. They lack the numbers to stand against such might of the Empire. In the quiet of their council, an idea takes root: to open the gate to the Esper world once more and seek their aid. Terra, a bridge between the races, offers herself as proof that humans and Espers can dwell in peace. The air hums with possibility as they prepare, and soon they move through Narsh's frosted streets, rescuing a Moogle named Mog, his small form trembling but brave, joining their cause with a gentle nod. The party finds themselves at the gate to the Esper world. Terra steps forward, her voice rises, and a soft call to the Espers goes beyond, and the barrier begins to tremble and open. From within, Espers surge forth, their forms radiant and wild, spilling into the world. Their power unfurls, unchecked, sweeping toward Vector, the Empire's steel heart, leaving ruin in their wake. The blackjack, caught in their storm, crashes softly to the earth, its wings stilled. In the Imperial Palace, Emperor Gestal meets the party, his voice low and measured. He speaks of the Esper's might and power, a force that has now humbled him, and claims to have a change of heart. A truce is offered, and he asks Terra and the returners to find the Espers who fled, to whisper of peace and end the war. The words hang in the air, fragile like mist. Terra and Locke set out, joined by General Leo, a man of honor clad in imperial green, his steps steady as they board a ship to Crescent Island. Shadow accompanies them, a silent figure hired by Leo, his blade a quiet promise. Celis is there too, draped in the mantle of an imperial general once more. Her presence is a shadow between them. Locke and Terra reach out, but she turns away. Her silence a wall built from earlier doubts about her loyalty. The sea carries them gently, its waves a rhythmic murmur beneath the hull, until the island's shores rise into view. They part from the Empire's ranks, wandering into Thamasa, a village of weathered homes nestled against the earth. Here they meet Strago, an elder with kind eyes, and his granddaughter, Realm, her spirit bright but unguarded. The townsfolk speak softly, claiming no knowledge of Espers or magic, their voices a careful veil. Yet fate stirs when Realm is trapped in a burning house, flames licking the wood with a slow, inevitable hunger. The people of Thamasa shed their pretense, weaving spells to douse the fire. Magic flows from their hands, a secret laid bare. Terra, Locke, and Strago step into the blaze, finding Realm amid the smoke, her small form cradled in their arms. Shadow follows, drawn by his hound Interceptor, who had trailed them inside. Together they emerge, the fire's roar fading to a whisper. Strago sits with them, the night soft around them, and shares Thamasa's tale. Long ago, after the War of the Magi, humans touched by magic sought refuge in this town, building lives of quiet simplicity. Their descendants carry the gift, a gentle ember in their blood. Strago offers his aid to Terra and Locke, his resolve firm, though Realm's plea to join is met with a tender refusal. Shadow slips away, Interceptor at his side, seeking the Espers alone beneath the stars. The search leads to the Esper Caves, their depths cool and shadowed, where echoes linger on the stone. A familiar presence disrupts the stillness. Ultros rises again, his tentacles coil, but Realm steps forward, her sketchbook open, capturing the essence of him in a living portrait that stills his chaos. Strago relents, welcoming her strength to their inner circle. Deeper within, they find the Espers, led by Yura, their voices soft with regret. They speak of Vector's fall, an accident born of power unleashed too wildly as they crossed the gate. A fragile peace begins to form as General Leo meets Yura in Thamasa, their words a bridge. That is, until Kefka arrives, his laughter a sharp crack in the calm. Kefka strikes without mercy, felling the Espers and claiming their magicite shards, crystalline remnants glinting in his grasp. The party falls beneath his hand, and when Leo rises to stop him, Kefka's blade silences him, leaving the general still upon the earth. The gate to the Esper world shudders open once more, and Espers pour forth, their forms blazing as they rush Kefka, but he meets them with ruin, shattering their bodies and gathering their shards, and then vanishes into the night. Word of the Empire's treachery spreads. Setzer arrives in Thamasa aboard the restored Blackjack airship, its engines a low hum, carrying the returners. Kefka and Gestalt, emboldened by their harvest, step through the gate into the Esper realm, where they find the Warring Triad, ancient statues of power frozen in stone. With the Magicite's strength, they awaken the Triad's might, and the earth trembles as the floating continent rises. A land torn free from the world below, drifting upward toward the sky. The air grows still, heavy with the promise of what's to come. The returners ascend now to the floating continent, a land that is now adrift in the sky, its edges framed by swirling clouds. The air hums with tension as they face the Imperial Air Force, their machines glinting faintly against the horizon. Ultros emerges once more, joined by his companion, Mr. Typhon. There forms a strange dance in the stillness of the sky. A battle ensues and the party prevails, and soon they come across Shadow. He had served the Empire until their betrayal turned against him. Together, they confront Ultima Weapon, a creature of legend, its power a quiet storm they quell with steady hands. Shadow departs, a lone figure fading into the vastness as the returners approach the heart of the continent. Before the Warring Triad, Kefka and Gestalt await. Celis arrives, her presence a soft light amid the darkness. But Gestalt's will blinds the party, their forms stilled by his magic. He and Kefka call to her, their voices weaving a promise of power, to join them, to strike down her friends, and to rule the world as three. Celis stands unshaken, her refusal a whisper of strength, and she turns her blade on Kefka, a single motion cutting through the silence. Fury stirs in Kefka, and he reaches for the Triad's power, seeking to awaken it fully. Gestalt, sensing the ruin this would bring, raises his hand to stop him, but Kefka's wrath strikes him down. A flicker of light fading as he casts Gestalt from the continent's edge. The statues shift, their alignment broken, and Celis warns of the chaos to come. The Triad's magic spiraling beyond control, Kefka's laughter ringing out, sharp but distant, as Shadow returns, guiding the party to the Blackjack. The air trembles, the Warring Triad's field unravels, and the world below reshapes itself in a slow, shattering wave. The Blackjack splinters beneath them, and the party scatters, carried away on the winds of a fractured earth. A year passes, quiet and heavy, as the world lies changed. Kefka rises above the ruins of Vector, a tower of jagged stone piercing the sky, drawing the Warring Triad's power into himself to become the god of magic. The land below withers beneath his gaze. Plants twist into strange forms, animals fade under the magical fallout, and cities crumble before his light of judgment, a beam of energy that silences all who defy him. Yet amid this desolation, a small island rests, cradling Celis in its solitude. She awakens to the voice of Sid, weathered but kind, as he speaks of the world's scars. He cares for Celis, tending to her, frail and fading, until his life's end. In his final moments, he reveals a raft, its wood smoothed by his own hands, urging her to seek her friends. Celis sets out, the sea lapping gently against the raft until the mainland's shores embrace her return. In Zen, where timbers creak under a fragile sky, she finds Sabin, his strength a welcome comfort in their time of need. Together they hold faith that others endure, and in Nikia, a port kissed by the waves, they meet a man called Gerard, his face a mirror of Edgar's, leading thieves with a quiet purpose. They follow him across the sea to South Figaro, then through a cave where Figaro Castle lies buried beneath the sand. There, Edgar sheds his disguise, revealing he guided the thieves to free his kingdom, its machines humming softly once more. In Koligan, amid whispers of the past, they find Setzer, who leads them to the resting place of his friend and her airship, the Falcon. Its wings gleam faintly as they recover it, a vessel to carry them across the world, unveiling secrets of the War of the Magi long buried in the earth. The Falcon lifts them gently, soaring over scarred lands to Mobliz, a village cradled in dust. There, Terra tends to children orphaned by the cataclysm, her hands soft against their small forms. She hesitates to fight, her spirit seeks peace. But when a beast of shadow threatens them, she rises to the occasion, her love for the children a quiet fire that drives her blade. In Mount Zozo's misty heights, Cyan dwells alone, penning letters to Lola, a young woman who sees her lost love in his words, their bond a thread across the distance. Strago, believing that Realm was lost, kneels before the cult of Kefka, while Realm paints in Jador, her brushstrokes a silent song for Auser. Shadow, bound to battle, stands in the Dragon's Neck Coliseum, his life a rhythm of steel. Locke, haunted by Rachel, a woman he loved, ventures into the Phoenix Cave, seeking the Esper's Phoenix Magicite. Its power stirs her briefly to life, a fleeting moment where words mend his guilt, and then she rests once more. Mog returns to Narsha's mines, and other characters join the party as well. Quiet souls drawn from the shadows of a broken world. Reunited, the returners climb Kefka's tower, its spires piercing a sky heavy with fading light. They know the warring triad's end will banish magic, and they wonder what will become of Terra, her essence tied to that vanishing thread. At the summit, Kefka stands, his voice a hollow echo, claiming mortal lives hold no meaning. Everything built crumbles, every deed is lost to time. The party answers softly, their words a weave of truth. It is the quiet bonds, the shared struggles that give life its will to endure. Kefka turns his light of judgment outward, a final scar upon the world, and then faces them as the god of magic. His laughter breaking like waves against stone, vowing to erase all hope. The battle rages on, but the party prevails because of their strong bond and fellowship. And Kefka falls, his power dissolving into the air. Magic fades with him, the Esper's Magicite crumbling to dust. Maduine's voice lingers, a whisper to Terra. She may live as a human if her heart clings to something dear. With her strength waning, she guides the party from the tower aboard the Falcon, its wings steady against the wind. She stumbles to the deck, her form faltering, and then rises anew, fully human, her love for the children she cared for anchoring her soul. The airship glides over a world, stirring to heal, cities lifting stones to rebuild. Terra steps to the bow, her hair unraveling into the breeze, a quiet freedom settling over her at last. And so, Final Fantasy VI comes to an end, a world remade through courage. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit the like button and subscribe for more gaming recaps. Thanks for sticking with me through this epic tale of light and hope. We'll see you in the next one.